Early morning, London, Heathrow, and passengers from Europe and continents even further afield fly in to connect with an aeroplane that overtakes the sun in its journey across the Atlantic.
I've got 4, a 1, 4, 4 and 2 are countable.
Good morning, sir. Morning. Welcome aboard. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome aboard, Concorde.
Clearance to start. Hello, ground. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Brian Walpole, and welcome to Concorde and our supersonic operation from London's Heathrow to New York's John F. Kennedy. Taxiing out to depart today on the left hand of the two westerly runways, runway 28 left. We'll be climbing up initially to 28,000 feet, a short subsonic cruise out to the Bristol Channel, and it's over the Bristol Channel that we'll be turning Concorde into the aeroplane it's designed to be, i.e. supersonic. Okay, gents. 3, 2, 1, now. Positive climb, gear up. Okay, nose and visor up after takeoff, checklist please. Nose and visor selected. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Walpole up at 28,000 feet now, and just coming up to the Bristol Channel, and it's over the Bristol Channel that will be transforming Concorde from subsonic to supersonic flight. The technique we employ is to apply full power to the engines, light up the afterburners. You'll know when they light up, there's a nudge or a slight kick as the thrust increases. You'll be able to watch the acceleration on the Mach meters at the front of the cabins, Mach 1 of course being the speed of sound. There we are, ladies and gentlemen, we're through Mach 1, the speed of sound, no bumps, no bangs, Concorde.
Thank you very much. Become addicted to melon champagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Walpole, 44,000 feet now. The aircraft will gradually climb as the fuel is consumed and the weight decreases, and continuing the acceleration towards the magic of Mach 2. Mach 2, twice the speed of sound, which with very little wind up here today corresponds to a speed over the Atlantic of 1,350 miles an hour. It's a mile in every 2 3/4 seconds, faster than a rifle bullet.
Nice coffee.
Bengt Olafsson from Oslo travels to Chicago 3 or 4 times a year to represent his bank. He actually goes out of his way to fly Concorde.
I used to travel direct to the USA, but I find it very tiring. I don't sleep very well on aeroplanes, so now I prefer to fly to London after a day in the office. British Airways provide me with complimentary overnight accommodation with a limousine connecting to the hotel.
Good evening, Stuart. Would you like to register, please?
Thank you. That way I get a decent night's sleep and catch the early Concorde to New York. I'll be in Chicago in time for lunch. I feel fresh and in good shape to make important decisions.
Also taking the early flight are the Thompsons, Wilfred and Annis. For them, this is the journey of a lifetime. They're on their way to spend a holiday in the West Indies and are going via New York just to experience supersonic flight. James McNaught, a successful designer, is used to working to a deadline. In his business, speed is an important factor.
And your passports as well, please. That's fine.
Oh, there we are.
Would you prefer smoking or not smoking?
Oh, smoking,
You want
please.
smoke?
You've been given 2 seats, a window in the aisle at the rear of the cabin.
Oh, yes.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. If you'd like to go upstairs into the departure lounge where they serve you light refreshments before you board.
Thank
Okay?
Sounds fine.
Okay, fine. There's your boarding card, sir, and your passport card.
It's lovely, thank you.
Enjoy your flight.
Good morning, sir. Would you like some champagne?
No, thanks. Just coffee.
Can I take your coat from you?
James McNaught's need for speed is helped by Booking Now, the downtown limousine service which will take him to his client's office in Manhattan. McNaught might even get there first.
Cheers.
British Airways Supersonic Concorde flight BA195 to New York is now ready for boarding.
Don't you have a few more minutes where I could go and pick up a bottle of free liquor?
With passengers sitting in rows 17 to 26. Please board the aircraft now.
Boarding card, here we are. Got the bits and pieces.
Passengers in...
Thank you. Thank you for being so nice. Enjoy that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Welcome aboard Concord.
We left at UK at 9:30. We get into New York at 8:30. We'll have a business conference until 12 o'clock in New York. Then we fly down to Carolina and we'll be there at 2:30 local time. I never changed my watch, it's always UK time. So by 7:30 this evening, I'll have done virtually a day's work, still with the opportunity to wash, brush up, sleep very well. And tomorrow when we meet the Carolina people on business, you're still sort of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, this is from London to New York on the early morning Concorde, which enables me to have a morning's work there and a luncheon to get to Toronto in the afternoon for another meeting at a reception I'm supposed to attend, and then to be back on a flight across the Atlantic to London tonight.
The flight itself is always very comfortable. You seem to be above the turbulence. The crews are very cheerful. It's altogether it's a fine experience, a love affair. Once you've done it once, I don't know how you could ever go back to the old way. Of course, you can drink the best of wines, the best of champagnes, and the food is always superb. But it enables me to be fresh, to go into the city, do a day's work, and go home, go to bed, and get up the next morning like I'd never traveled. I'm an addict, as they say.
A couple of points of interest to those of you who may not have flown on the bird before. The sky up here, a slightly darker blue due to the reduced refraction of the sun's light, and also, perhaps best seen on the left-hand side of the aircraft today, a slight curve to the horizon. And that is the curvature of Mother Earth. Thank you.
Concorde's flight path takes it close to Newfoundland, where it then turns southwards, past Nantucket Sound, and on down to New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're up at 57,000 feet now, from our deceleration and descent point. That is the point at which we gently draw the power off the engines and start descending and decelerating at the same time, and we present it to the United States Airways structure, subsonic, just off the coast.
Let's see the coast line.
Seabird, clear direct Deer Park, acknowledge that, and contact Yield Center 133.3. Good day.
Also heading for New York is Dick Bonelli, anxious to reach his office in good time to greet his visitor from London.
Oh, this is not my day. I can't believe it.
No such frustrations for James McNaught, making the final notes for his meeting in Manhattan.
Proceed. 400, directors out. 100 to go.
Having crossed the Atlantic at twice the speed of sound, Concorde gets you to New York in local time an hour before you left Heathrow. You've actually overtaken the sun.
British Airways Concorde Supersonic service from London, flight 195. Passengers can reservations on the...
Good morning. My name is McNaught. I'm just in from London. Yes. I have a limo booked to take me into the city.
We have one waiting, please. Dominic, that'll be $15, sir.
Thank you.
It's now 8:45 a.m. By 9:30, James McNaught will be in downtown Manhattan. And Bengt Olufsen will be flying domestic on his way to Chicago in time for lunch. Wilfred and Annis Thompson are now well on their way to sunnier climes. With a bit of luck, they'll be bathing in the Caribbean by tea time.
Can I help you, please?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, please.
Yes, hang on, we haven't got
Thank you.
to.
You know we're going on, don't you?
On Air Jamaica,
Yes,
sure.
that's
If you
right.
follow me over to the elevators, I'll show you where to check in then.
For many Concorde passengers, New York is only a stepping-off point. Half the passengers on this flight will be going on to destinations all over North America and beyond. You can be having lunch in Chicago or Detroit, Pittsburgh or Toronto. Be doing business by mid-afternoon in Seattle or San Francisco, Miami or Montreal.
What bridge is this now?
Queensboro.
Queensboro. Ah, that's right, yeah.
That's right.
James, good morning.
Dick, how are you? Good to see you.
Good. Well, good to see you. Have a good trip?
3,500 miles from London, James McNaught will start his Manhattan meeting on time.
If you don't mind my
Had a terrible trip in this morning.
Really?
Terrible ride. Traffic.
Saturday, December the 6th, and Concorde Alpha Alpha is about to make an unscheduled flight. Apart from normal scheduled services to New York and Washington, Concorde is also available for charter. In this case, it's the Royal Flying Corps and the Royal Naval Air Service Veterans Association that have chartered Alpha Alpha for a 2-hour flight round the Bay of Biscay.
No, Mr. Coppard, if you go to gate no, you don't sign anything today.
Some time, and you'll be able to talk to the pilot.
Hello, are you travelling on your own? No? You have to be in the far corner by 11:30 to catch the coach.
You were in the Royal Flying Corps, were you?
Yes.
What did you fly?
Most Farmans. There's the most Farman.
How fast did that go?
57 miles an hour at ground level if it's a good one. And you don't do any fancy work with it at all because you're dead.
due to remove all persons on board the Concorde, and we're closing the doors at the start.
Charter flights like this are being booked more and more, both by enthusiasts and by companies for promotional purposes. The thrill and prestige of traveling on Concorde in style make it an experience most people will remember for a lifetime.
And that's champagne, wasn't it? Yeah. Some champagne for you. How for you, sir? Thanks very much. Oh, dear. Oh, so you got really interested.
It's the first time I've ever been up in the air. Scared stiff, I wouldn't go up before. When this thing came on, I never dreamt I could go in it because I'm retired, been retired quite a time. And there's an old age pensioner, you know, it's the last thing on earth, isn't it? Really.
What does it feel like?
Oh, grand. Ask her. She would. My son said, you won't get her on there, she won't even get on a 12 bus.
Except in next Wednesday.
And I can see the Bristol Channel to the right of us, ladies and gentlemen.
What are you going to tell your school friends when you get back to school on Monday?
Oh, well, trying to find some way of getting them to believe me. Worse.
Can I ask how you enjoyed your flight?
Oh, I did enjoy it, yes.
Yeah?
Very much.
Anything particular?
No, it finishes my logbook off. I got him to sign that.
Very, very good.
Yeah. What was the best part of it for you? Anything?
The takeoff.
Takeoff.
The takeoff.
Incredible.
And the landing we knew nothing about. We were down before we knew it.
Words fail me. It's so incredible. It's a wonderful experience.
Concorde eastbound, this time against the sun, shrinking 5 time zones between Washington and London to 3.5 hours.
Well, just to tell you how the flight is progressing, and the answer is quickly, very quickly indeed, in fact, at now 1,360 miles an hour. As we are now flying away from the sun at approximately 2,000 miles an hour, the sun is moving to the west at some 600 miles an hour, and we're moving to the east at 1,400 miles an hour. This causes a quite dramatic and marked effect at sunset. I appreciate you can't see very far forward, but you'll see some effect anyhow.
Well, we're traveling fast, but not near as fast as I've traveled previously.
Tell me about it.
Well, I still hold the world's all-time speed record coming back from the moon on Apollo 10, which is 37,000 feet per second. It's always super to fly in the Concorde, which I've done several times.
What do you think of it?
I am thrilled. Every single cell in my body is thrilled.
Concorde has really revolutionized man's thinking to what time is. But I think we'll probably travel even faster than the Concorde eventually.
London Speedbird 192 is leaving flight level 580 for 370.
Roger, Fever 196.
Well, I needed a bit of an uplift in my life, so I thought this was a good way to do it.
Main landing lights out.
Speedbird 505, landing time was 49er, fifth person.
Autopilot is out.
Ground, pull the outer marker, service wind 310 degrees, 15, turn speed recently up to 35.
200 feet. 100 feet. 50, 40, 30, 20, 15. Reverse.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the ground here at London's Heathrow. The forecast flight time, you may recall, 3 hours and 31 minutes. The achieved flight time tonight, 3 hours and 24 minutes. The distance, 3,950 statute miles. Average speed, well over 1,000 miles an hour. The aeroplane, Concorde, And on behalf of all of us in British Airways, whose good fortune it is to fly this fine aircraft, may I say how very proud we are of it, and thank you for joining us on Concorde tonight.